Hello everyone and welcome to the second speaking class today for IELTS. Just waiting on some people to join in to the class. And first I would like to check the audio and video just to make sure that you can all hear me and see me okay. All right, so hi Pi21, hi Mohammed. Hello for those students who are joining right now. Just doing a quick sound check. Can everyone see me okay right now and hear me okay? I think the stream health is just firing up, so it should be more clear. Can you guys see me okay? Should be good. Let me double check our connection here. Yep. Awesome. Okay, welcome everyone. Today we are continuing. This is the second class for today. We are focusing today on IELTS speaking with an example from our website and some strategies also from our website. Our website is found at www.aehelp.com. That's for academic IELTS. And then we have another one for general IELTS. It's www.gieltshelp.com. So those are our websites. I'll show you that in a second. We'll be using those websites for today's lesson. You can use the coupon code LIVE20 for a 20% discount. Okay. So you can also use Super Chat. Super Chat is beside the emoji. It's the button that you can click on if you want to make your comment or your question very bright and clear. You have to pay at least, I think, $1 or something like that. And then it will ping your comment or your question so I can see it more. So make sure you use those. It also helps support us to buy equipment, feed families, etc. And we offer Skype IELTS speaking interviews. So if you're interested in Skype IELTS practice speaking interview, send me an email at adrian@aehelp.com. My name is Adrian, of course, and I am broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary. So hello everyone for joining. I can see your comments, so please ask questions, please make comments. Be respectful to each other and to me and the class, and we shall cover some important and useful information so that you could get some nice high scores for your IELTS speaking section. Again, this is the second class today. We are taking the materials from our website. On our website, when you log in, you have a My Student account. It looks like this. Your My Student account has a full course right here, and then in that course you have a full speaking section. You can click on this Speaking Live Practice and then accept the terms. Again, anytime, guys and girls, anytime that you're practicing speaking and you're looking for speaking partners online, whether it's on our website, on our YouTube channel, or if you find your speaking partner somewhere else, please, please be very careful about the information that you share. You should not share your personal information and pictures, okay? So keep your private information private for your own safety, all right? When you log on to our website, you will see a page like this, and then on this page, when another user steps in, you will see a screen come up, and you can contact them here with video and with audio. So that's on our website, and you can use that for free, by the way. So if you just join our free demo course, then you can use this feature for free where you can interact with other IELTS students. Just make sure that you refresh the page every 10 minutes So keep the page open, wait for other students to log on, refresh the page every 10 minutes, and then you'll see students logging in here, and then again you can talk to them and you can use video chat as well, okay? If you want to book an IELTS speaking interview with me, then in your My Student account, you'll see a yellow button on the right side here, and you can click on that yellow button, and then there you have a payment form and a checkout form to book IELTS practice speaking interviews where I can give you feedback, let you know what your mistakes are, and practice those corrections, okay? So that you can do all on the My Student page, either the free or the paid version, of course. Also in the paid version, you have 2 full IELTS test books. They have all of the sections of the IELTS exam: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You have a student workbook to help you practice strategies. You have a 30, 60-day lesson plan that helps you to keep a schedule for your learning. You can download these books, of course, as PDF. Then you have all of our strategies and lessons. These are interactive. You can use it on your phone and your tablet. We have key strategies for the IELTS: listening section, reading section, writing section. We explain all parts of the IELTS. And then here we have all of these videos. And then we have our CDs. We'll use some of these. So our website has audio for the listening section. We also have audio for the reading section, and we also have audio examples for the speaking section. And we'll look at some speaking section audio examples in today's live class, okay? Then we have additional services on the website, so you can get editing help, you can get help with your CV or resume writing, and if you're going for university, master's, doctorate, we help you with your statement of purpose, or your statement of intent writing as well. Of course, we have a blog and a forum, so lots of great information on our website for you to get a band score of 7 or even much higher. So please visit us at aehelp.com, join us there, and be successful on your IELTS. It's not that expensive. It's depending on where you are in the world. Prices change. If you're in a low GDP country, it's about $20 US, medium is $40, and in countries like Britain or France, it's $60. But again, that's only about a small fraction of the cost of the full test, which is $300 US. So spend a little, get a lot, pass your IELTS exam. That's the goal. All right, guys and girls, so without further ado, we will be continuing our speaking example. This is taken from our books. So the speaking test is made up of 3 parts. Okay, you have part 1, which is questions on a general topic, part 2 and part 3. Guys, on my live stream camera, it looks like the picture is a little bit blurry. How is it on your side? So can somebody let me know how you're seeing the picture? Is it blurry or is it clear? Should be clear. Is it blurry or clear? Okay, it's clear, it's good. Okay, I'm happy about that. Sometimes on my side, I don't see exactly what you see. And I'm guessing the audio is clear as well. Great, awesome. Okay, so earlier today, we talked about speaking part 1. We talked about some important information for speaking part 1. And today, in this second class, we will be looking at part 2, which is the cue card. And then we'll be looking at part 3, which are some follow-up questions related to the topic of part 2. Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about part 2 and about the strategies that you need to know. So This is from the lesson a couple hours ago. I thought that this would be really important to remind you about this for speaking part 2 for the cue card. It's a really good idea to practice at home and record yourself. So just like shadow boxing, just like martial arts, when they practice in front of a mirror, you need to practice by using your phone, record yourself. After you record yourself, listen to the recording, look for mistakes, correct your mistakes, record it again, and then listen again, okay? So this is just a review. I'm not going into a lot of detail here for part 2, but just remember that recording yourself on your phone and listening to yourself, even if you don't like to hear your voice, you should do it. You have to do it. It will help you to get a higher band score, okay? All right, so a few more questions here as we start up. So when you're practicing for part 2, here's an interesting question. So of course, I'm always teaching you to use critical thinking. What, why, how? Here's an interesting question for you. Why is it especially important to practice speaking section part 2 before the test? So it's important to practice all parts of IELTS before your exam, of course. Arguably, part 2 speaking is one of the most important sections of IELTS or parts of IELTS to practice at home before you sit the test. Why? Why is it so important to practice part 2 at home? Can you give me some answers? Hickmeet, you need to train yourself to think that way, but in the real IELTS, you're doing that in your mind, okay? So you're actually doing that in your head, and it shouldn't take you too long if you're practicing at home. Okay, Yvonne says time management is one of the important reasons. Amra Wadi says to familiarize yourself with the test, to recognize mistakes, correct yourself, to give yourself confidence. One of the 4 components of the overall band score. Yes, of course. Really, it's one of the 3 because part 1 is just made up of multiple parts. Because you get experience, is what Ali says. One kind of reverse way to say it is because it is not a skill that we naturally have in everyday life. So the way I'm going to say it, I agree with most of you. You have some good answers there, like for confidence, to learn the format. One of the really important ones, I think Yvonne put that up there, is time management. So that's a really important one as well. And then, of course, what I'm saying here in the beginning is because it is not something we naturally do every day. So even people who have good English skills and who know a lot of vocabulary, grammar, like to talk a lot like me, you don't actually sit there daily and give 2-minute mini presentations about different topics. Okay, I mean, yes, in school you practice sometimes presentations, but I know that in many countries you don't actually do presentations in school either. In Western countries like Canada, US, you have more experience doing presentations in school, but even then, it's not enough. So we don't actually do these kinds of little elevator pitches, as they're called, these 1-2 minute opinion discussions. So you have to practice this at home and get a good feel for how it works, what you should say, and how long it takes you to say it, okay? So get a feel for what to say, how to say it, and how long to say it. Okay. I know that many students for Part 2 speaking think that you should just keep talking until the examiner stops you. Has anybody learned this strategy from another teacher who has said, oh, just keep talking until they stop you? Has anybody been taught this strategy where they're like, oh, okay, so you get to Part 2, you look at the questions, just keep talking until the examiner stops you? The big answer, Yvonne, to your question is no, don't go off topic. Okay? Sai Baba says no, they haven't been taught that. Lei Pepe says I did. Okay, because I know that some students learn to just keep talking. So sometimes their teachers are like, oh yeah, just keep talking until they stop you. That's usually a bad strategy. Okay, I don't like to disagree with other teachers, but it's usually not a good idea to just keep blabbing. Okay. The reason why is because, yeah, you tend to go off topic, and also you don't finish your ideas. So do not keep talking without a point. Okay. Do not go off topic. Yeah, Yvonne's asking, like, is it okay if I go off topic? No, it's not okay if you go off topic. There's a very logical reason for that. If you go off topic, I don't know, if I'm the examiner, I don't know if you're just saying things that you memorized and practiced at home, or if you're actually communicating something fluently from your thoughts. So I can't give you a good mark, okay? Because memorized speech does not get a good mark. You have to answer questions accurately. So you can't just keep talking. So do not keep talking without a point. Do not go off topic, okay? That is not a good idea. So practice talking about a topic from start to finish in 120 seconds. Okay? So that's what you need to do at home, is you need to practice talking about a topic from start to finish in 120 seconds. Okay? That's how much time you have to speak. So, and also, of course, plan to talk about a topic in 60 seconds. Okay? That's how much time you have to plan for your answer. You have about 60 seconds to plan for your answer, and then you will talk for 120 seconds. Make sure that you can plan in the 60 seconds what you will say, and then in the 120 seconds actually say it. Okay? That's the key. Now, here is a very important piece of information for Part 2 speaking. Part 2 speaking, and this will help you practice at home, can basically be about 4 general categories, because all information can be grouped in these 4 general categories. So Part 2 speaking which is, of course, the cue card for those of you who are joining right now, will ask you about one, people. Okay? So sometimes the cue card will ask you about people. Talk about a famous person. Talk about your favorite person. Talk about one of your family members. So this is talking about people. Okay. Then 2. Topic or task achievement in the speaking criteria comes from being able to answer all parts, Ivan, of the cue card. I'll get to that in a minute, okay? Sometimes students learn these really fancy words that are used on IELTS, like task achievement and so on, but they're nothing more than basically referring to being able to completely answer the questions in a clear, coherent way. That's all that we're saying when we say task achievement. Okay, so part 2 speaking, the cue card will be either about people or what else? What else could be on the cue card? What other category of information could we be presented with? Not things, Hongyan Nguyen, but objects. Okay, objects is a better way to think about it than things. So talk about a gift you got in the past. Talk about something that you lost. Talk about items that are really important in your culture. Okay, so 2 is objects. What is another one? I see that you're saying hometown. Okay, Hadil, that's great. You're obviously following these lessons and you've learned a lot, which is great. So it can be objects, it can be a place. Yeah. It can be an event. Or in some cases, it's a little bit different from an event. There's one other topic that you can get. So it can be about a place like where you grew up, or a historical landmark, or a beach, a park, some natural place. It can be an event, something that happened in history. It can be about a birthday party. Food belongs to objects, Bulavali. Not emotions so much. Emotions are usually avoided because they're very difficult to talk about, so it's rare that you'll be asked a question about an emotion. So people, objects, place, event, and there's one other non-physical. Anybody know what that non-physical 5th one comes up? Sometimes you see it on IELTS. It's an idea or thought. Okay, it's a little bit less common. Yeah, idea or thought including memories. So talk about an idea that you had, talk about a strategy that you developed during school, or something that you invented, or talk about some past memories. It's a thought, okay? So games would be an event, all right? So all of these, weather would also be an event, all right? Leisure activity would also be an event. So the information that you can see in speaking part 2 will fall into one of these 4 categories, mostly sometimes this last one. But mostly people, objects, place, or event. So when you're practicing for part 2 at home, try to put equal weight on these 5 different categories, okay? When you practice at home, make sure to practice each of these categories equally, especially ones which are difficult. Okay? So at home, make sure that you're not just practicing talking about people, okay? Make sure that you're not just practicing talking about objects, but practice all of these. One of the mistakes that students make is that they practice just 1 or 2 of these. So they practice objects, they practice people, and then they go to the IELTS exam, and the question is, talk about a famous landmark. And the students go, oop, what do I do? What do I do? I didn't practice anything about talking about places. Okay, I'll try my best, but I don't know it so much. All right? So definitely practice all of these categories equally. So if one day you're practicing talking about people, the next day practice about objects, the next day practice about an event and a place, and so on. Okay? So don't just focus on one. This is very important for speaking part 2. Now, let's get into it a little bit more. So when we talk about people, What do we usually include to make the information clear? So if we want to talk about a person, a famous person, a person that we remember, a role model that we had, an athlete, a musician, an actor, what should we talk about? So Hadil says appearance. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times students forget to talk about what this person looks like. It's good to mention just quickly. You don't need to say a lot, but just quickly. The person's tall, has dark, long hair, average build, likes to dress fancy. Okay? So just talk a little bit about what they look like, because that helps your listener to see that person. Okay? It's definitely a good idea to include the name. Sure. If you can give the person's name, yeah, it's weird to talk about somebody for 2 minutes and not know their name. Oh, this guy, yeah, he's the most amazing soccer player in the world. Oh, yeah, he gets paid so much money and he's awesome. I really enjoy watching games when he's playing. And yeah, he's won a lot of trophies and cups and even has video games that are where he's the main featured character. So I think he's probably the best athlete in the world. And then you're done. And the whole time you forgot to say that his name is Messi. That's kind of weird, okay? Let's hear the person's name. So yeah, definitely include the name. If you're talking about a country, say the country, okay? So we talk about a person's appearance. We talk about so I see you talking, so I see some of you saying profession. There we go. Hadil, obviously following the lessons. Personality and action. So their profession is a part of their action. So what they do, their job, is their action. Okay, that's their activity. So when you talk about a person, you can think about appearance. You can think about personality. So kind, hardworking, and so on. And then you can talk about their actions. So what they do. Okay, so a person, when we talk about a person, we should quickly first, and this is the order, first talk about their appearance. Okay, she is frail, or she was frail and a small person, especially in her old age. Her name is Mother Teresa, or now called Saint Teresa. She was an extremely kind person who lived in Brazil, and she dedicated her life to helping sick people, especially those with terminal illness, such as leprosy. So talk about the appearance, what Mother Teresa or Saint Teresa looked like. Talk about their personality. And of course, you always support personality with their actions. Okay? That's what you do, is you support their personality with what they do. So don't just say something like, they're kind, oh, and they make a lot of money in their business. So sometimes I see students do this, where they talk about personality, they say something that they're kind, and then they talk about the action, but the action and the personality don't match. And when they don't match, it's kind of like, huh, what are you saying right now? So they're kind and they make a lot of money in their business, but how is that kind? I don't see the relationship. So you have to make those connections, okay, between personality and action. Now, when you do this, so in part 2, if you get a person and you talk about their appearance and you talk about their personality and you talk about their actions, 95% that you will answer all of the questions on the card. Okay, so if you chose the right person, like you have to talk about a famous person, and you talk about Brad Pitt, and you explain to me what Brad Pitt looks like, what he does, and his personality, then it's a 95% chance that you answered all of the questions on the card anyway. Okay, you should still pay close attention to the questions, but there's a good chance that you've answered everything anyway, even if you're not looking at the questions. Okay, that's just natural. That's the way that it works. All right. Yeah, character traits, physical traits, character traits like honesty, Dilpreet, absolutely. Achievements are also their actions. So if you say that Michael Phelps has won several Olympic gold medals for swimming. That's his achievements. That's also his actions in sports. Okay, objects. How can we describe objects? So what is the logical, effective way of describing objects? Yeah, and definitely learn all the vocabulary for personality and for characteristics, like engratic, brilliant, quiet, and calm, as Bolivalia is saying. Yeah, absolutely. So how can we describe objects? Well, yeah, exactly, just the same as humans. So the size, the shape, the look of it, right? So the appearance. Okay, it's the same as with humans. So we explain what the object looks like. So create a clear picture of that object. Okay, it's round, it fits in your palm, it's shiny, and it's hard. It's an apple, right? So, yep. There we go. Hadil, again, think about the big pictures. So the usage, right? What is the purpose of the object? So objects are described by appearance and by function. So what we use it for. So appearance, function, importance is a part of the function. Okay, yeah, so what the object looks like, its function, right? So it's small, it fits in my hand, it's flat. I use it to communicate to other people, either in written or by voice. What is it? It's a phone, right? Function, purpose is the same. Yeah, value. Anything else? Appearance, function, and the value or the advantages, those are all the functions. Disadvantages, that's all the function, okay? So that's the function of that object. The color is a part of the appearance. What else? What else do people usually like to know? Yeah, the history, that's right. The origins, okay? Where did you get it? Is important. And what else? Now, here's a hint. If you apply critical thinking, what are the 3 questions for critical thinking? What are the 3 questions, the 3 big questions when we use good critical thinking? Now, I'm, of course, speaking to some of the students. Right. So Amar Wadi says, what, why, how? Okay, good. So now if we jump back to the object, then what is a question that we usually ask with objects? We talked about the what is it, what it looks like. We talked about the why is the function. Why do you have it? What's the function of it? So what's the missing piece? Come on, guys. No, the why is the function. We've talked about the function. That's right, Saleh. Thank you. Saleh Al-Hazza had the first right answer there, is how to use it. Okay, that's human nature. We look at something, ooh, what is that? Well, it's a machine. Why do you have it? It helps me to create ideas and communicate. Ooh, okay, it's a computer. How do you use it? Well, you have input device like a keyboard or a mouse, and you have an output device like a printer or a TV or a screen, a monitor. So that's how you use it, by inputting information and then getting information out of it. So that's objects. And again, it's the same thing. So if you practice at home for IELTS Part 2, and then you practice talking about objects for 120 seconds, and you talk about what they look like, why we have them, why we use them, what the function is, where you got it, and how it works, I promise that you'll get an 8, even a 9 on that speaking section, okay? So now place. What do we talk about when we talk about a place? What should we talk about? Okay, it's location, sure. That's right, Ali. Yeah, you're getting the hang of it. Appearance, of course, it's physical, right? It's just like people or objects, appearance. Okay, so the location, the appearance. Yep, the history as well, right? The history of that place, sure. How to get there, possibly, absolutely. Description would be the appearance. Okay, Istar, what do you mean people live? So what do you mean? There you go. Vikas Kapoor, checking in. Yeah, absolutely. Uses. So the function, okay, if it's a mosque, you know, what do people use it for? Prayer, gathering. If it's a lake, what do people use it for? Swimming, motorboating, right? So what is it used for? The function for humans, right? The importance of it, right? Who goes there, right? Who goes there? What do we use it for, right? So location, appearance, history, function, maybe the weather, but not all places have weather, right? If you have to talk about a famous landmark, you're probably not going to talk about the weather of that landmark, right? So you'll talk about what it looks like, its history, and its function. Okay, good. Now, let's go to the next one. Event. If we're talking about an event, what are the main ideas that we need to cover? So if we're talking about an event like a birthday, what do we need to talk about? What should we include in this event? When it was, yeah. Where was it? What else? Yeah, so Imran says who, so who was there, right? So who went there or who goes there? And what's the next one? So when was it? Where was it? Who was there? And okay, Bolawali, Chicky, can you be a little bit more specific? What you did, yeah, or what happened there. If you're not actually there, then what happened there? Okay, good. So if you talk about an event and you answer when it was, where it was, who was there, and what happened there, when you answer these 4 questions, it's very, very likely that you will answer all of the questions on the cue card, no matter what they are. And as long as you have the topic and the controlling idea, you're going to get a very, very, very good score, okay? So just make sure you focus on those. All right, and let's cover the last point a little bit, idea and thought. So when you have an idea or a thought, what do you need to focus on? What questions or what ideas do you need to answer about an idea or thought? What is it? Yeah, absolutely. And I've actually seen students talk about an idea without ever talking about what it was. So what is it? So what is the idea? Yeah, reason for the idea. Exactly. It's the critical thinking, right? Why did you have the idea? Anything else? Type of idea is what is it? Lytton. So type of idea is what is it? Purpose or how useful is why did you have the idea? Yeah, was it useful is I think what some of you are trying to express. So was it useful and what else? So what is the idea? Why did you have the idea? Was it useful? Anything else? How it helps is the same. Yeah, how did it originate, Krishna? I see that. That's what I was thinking of. So where did you come up with this? So what inspired the idea, right? Did you watch a television show? Did you learn something from a teacher? So how were you inspired to have this idea? Where is it coming from? The origins. Again, interesting little factoid for everyone. The Nokia flip phone, the phone that you flip. Anybody know where that idea came from for the flip phone? The phone that you open up? anybody know where the idea came from? Nokia a long time ago for the Nokia Razr and so on, these phones that flip open. Not so common anymore these days, but anybody know? A little interesting fact if you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Came from the old Star Trek series. So if any of you are familiar with television, there's a science fiction called Star Trek where there's humans in the future that travel in space. And this TV series was made in the 1970s. They use a communicator that flips open, and a child at that time who lived in Norway, I think, said, hey, that looks really cool. I'm going to build that when I get older. And they became one of the engineers for Nokia and created the first Nokia flip phone based on Star Trek. So inspirations come from TV and come from a lot of interesting places. So these are the 5 categories of IELTS Speaking Part 2. IELTS Speaking Part 2 question will fall into one of these, either people, objects, place, event, or idea. When we talk about these categories, this is what we talk about, what we just described here, for people, appearance, personality, actions, and for the rest of them, so on. Practice each of these at home before the IELTS exam, okay? Practice each of these at home before the IELTS exam. That way you will be much more confident and you will do a better job on the official test. So practice each of these categories at home before the test. Okay, it won't be much help if you start practicing it after because you just spent $300. All right? So practice each of these categories at home before the test. Very, very important. Okay. So now let's talk about the cue cards. So you're sitting in the IELTS exam, and you did a great job in part 1. Woohoo! You're feeling good. You're feeling confident. And the examiner says, all right, that is the end of IELTS Speaking Part 1. Now we will continue with Speaking Part 2. For Speaking Part 2, I will give you a card. I am Canadian, West Coast Canadian, guys. Canadian, West Coast Canada. All right. So, you get the card. What do? And here is our card here. So you get this card, and it says, describe a television program you enjoy. You should say the name of the program, what kind of program it is, and why you like it. You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare what you are going to say. So you get to this part, you get this card. What do? What's your first step? You got 60 seconds. It starts very quickly. The examiner says your 60 seconds to prepare starts now. What do you do in that 60 seconds? What do you do? Thanks, Saad. I appreciate that positive compliment. What do you do in the 60 seconds? Okay, what's your first step? Even before you write down any notes or outlines, definitely ask what, why, how questions. So use your critical thinking. But before you even do that, before you even focus in on your critical thinking, what should you do? There's a couple of important things here. So Istar says, first make the key point. Ashraf, very good. Yeah. So make sure you understand. Guys and girls, no joke here. You'd be surprised. So many times I see students in speaking part 2, even with good English skills, talk about a completely different idea or a different topic than what's on the card. Maybe they get nervous, but definitely they're not paying attention, and they start talking about something completely off topic, and after 2 minutes they feel great. Whew, I just did that. And then they realize, uh-oh, I just talked about something different. Yeah, you can't get a good mark. Even if you had good English, you're not going to get a good mark if you talked about a different topic. Okay, so you do the same thing for speaking part 2 as what you do in writing task 2 question. You identify the topic and the controlling ideas. Okay, for example, in this question, what's the topic? What is the topic? Yeah, so here it's a TV program, right? I've seen students get this question and start talking about movies. So they're like, oh, I just watched a great movie in the theater last week, and it was starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and then they talk 2 minutes about a movie, and I'm like, it's not really a TV program, and you just talked about a movie, and your IELTS score goes like that. So you got to talk about a television program, okay? So step number 1, identify the topic. Make sure you don't go off topic, okay? So number 1, so important. I've seen students not do this too many times. So identify the topic. Here it is a television program. Okay, and then the second, of course, is identify the controlling idea. What is the controlling idea in our example? So in this example here, what is our actual controlling idea? Can you guys tell me, girls? Raghead, if you don't watch TV programs, you will still have to answer this question. So you have to kind of make it up. Just think about the favorite books that your magazines that you like to read and convert that as if it were a TV program. Okay? Yeah, the controlling idea is enjoy, that you like, right? So TV show that you like. Okay, you have to do this. Again, another mistake I see students make is they figure out, okay, yeah, it's a TV program. They talk about a TV program. There's a great series on TV. It's a nature series with David Attenborough called Planet Earth, and it shows animals living in their natural habitats in very secluded areas of the world. These animals are beautiful, colorful, and very difficult to find, so most of us can only see them on this show. And then the student talks 2 minutes, and then at the end you're kind of like, okay, you told me a lot about Planet Earth and this really amazing TV program, but you didn't say anything about you enjoying it or why you enjoy it, and you missed the controlling idea of the question. So your mark goes, because I don't know if you just memorized something about TV shows and not actually focused on the question. So you have to target the topic and the controlling idea to get a good score, okay? You have to, all right? You must do that. Target both the topic and the controlling idea. All right, just for fun, talking about a TV program, which category is it? Is it people, objects, place, event, or idea? What is the TV program closest to? So which one of these categories does it fall into best? People, objects, place, event, or idea? And see, this is why you have to practice at home, because it's not always easy. So, all of you who are saying event, Salbaba, Amra, Litton, no, Kajal, yes, Istar, yes, ZMN Bub, 295, yes, absolutely, it's an event. So, a TV show would be closest to an event. Why? Why is event the best choice when you're talking about a TV program? Because, think about it, something happens, right? So when you're thinking about an event, you're thinking about something happening right there, right? So when you're telling me about a TV program, most of your speech will be about what happens in the TV program, right? You'll talk about who is in the TV program, but you should tell me about when you watch it, where you watch it, what happens in this TV program, and why you enjoy it. So it's just like talking about an event, like a birthday, right? So a TV program is closest, certainly, to an event. And again, this is why you have to practice this at home. It seems easy. You're like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll get it. If I get to the IELTS exam, I'll figure out which one it is. But it's not that easy. Okay, it's not that easy without practice. I make some of these things look easy for you. I've been a teacher for 15 years. I've specialized in IELTS for 10 years. So yeah, certainly it seems easy when I'm talking about it, but you have to practice this at home, okay? You have to practice this at home. So a TV program is an event. So because it's an event and you've recognized that it's an event, you want to talk about when is it? Where is it? Who is in it? And what happens? Okay? I promise that if you answer these 4 questions that are the questions for an event, you will get a great score for this specific cue card, okay? So think about when is it, where is it, who is it, and what happens, okay? So let's look back at the question. The specific question says, you should say the name of the program, what kind of program it is, and why you like it. Now, some students will get scared and say, oh, geez, that's just 3 questions. How do I talk for 2 minutes about 3 questions? Well, when you recognize that it's an event and you think about these other questions of when is it, where is it, who is in it, what happens, and you combine that, now you can talk about it for 2 minutes. Okay? So let's do that now. I'll throw it out to you. So tell me about some TV programs that you like. Let's see if we can find one that many people watch. Okay? What do you guys think is a popular television show that many people watch? Hopefully I know which show you're talking about because I don't watch a lot of TV either. So there's Dr. Phil, there's Ellen DeGeneres, there's Big Boss, there's some comedy shows. Pick a specific show. Man vs. Wild, sure. America's Got Talent. All right, let's go with Raya's because even though not all of us might watch the talent shows, I know that they're repeated in many, many countries. Mr. Bean is a great choice as well, Dinesh. I think everybody would know Mr. Bean. So choosing these shows that everybody's familiar with is a great idea. Does everybody know Mr. Bean? Is there anybody who doesn't know Mr. Bean? If somebody doesn't know Mr. Bean, let me know. Okay, Hassan says me not. Really? Wow, okay. All right, does anybody not know America's Got Talent? Does anybody not know America's Got Talent? I'm trying to choose the one between these two that most people are familiar with so that you can follow along with the example. Okay, so it looks like everybody knows America's Got Talent. Okay, so let's choose that one. And of course, it can be India's Got Talent or it can be Italy's Got Talent. So it can be any talent show. We can just go America's Got Talent. I'm Canadian. There's a Canadian talent show as well. So I'm sure that a lot of countries have this, especially with bigger populations. So we can choose that one. Okay, so then let's answer these questions. So the first question that we're answering is the name of the TV program. Very easy. The name, useful sentences of the program which I enjoy watching is America's Got Talent. Okay, so that's a clear answer to question number 1. What should I say after this? So the name of the program which I enjoy watching is America's Got Talent. What should I say after this one, guys? Mr. Bean would be a good one. I challenge you guys and girls at home to answer this with Mr. Bean after. Mr. Bean is a good choice. So try what you're learning today, the strategies that you're learning today with Mr. Bean at home, okay? Again, you can also contact me at ahelp.com and you can join me for live Skype speaking there and practice this question also. So the name of the program which I enjoy watching is America's Got Talent. Once in a week daily. So Pritesh says, let's talk about when we watch it. Yeah, so can somebody give me a full sentence about when we watch it? Yeah, time is definitely a good one to start with. So somebody give me a full sentence. Please give me a full sentence for when you watch it. You have to practice detailed full sentences at home. That's right, Rohan. That's a much better answer. It runs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Now let's link it. Make a compound sentence. And I. What comes next? What would be a good way to continue this sentence? Okay, Vikas, very good. Be more detailed. And I usually watch at home with my sister. Very good, Jacqueline. That's what I was looking for. Okay, great. Now, what should come next? So what question should I answer next? Don't jump to why you like it yet. You can get into why you like it later. What is it about is a good one to think about. Even before what is it about, I think, Pritesh, you have the right idea, but you just missed the word there. Hadil, you're on the right track. Yeah, who's in it? That's right. So I would probably talk about who's in it before I got into what it's actually about. So can somebody give me a full sentence answer of who is in the show? Can somebody give me a full sentence answer about who is in the show? I want you to practice your English here. So they're not participants, there's judges, right? How many judges? How many judges are there in the show? Be specific, use quantitative language, use specific language, use something that I can measure and that I can see. How many judges? There are usually 3 to 4 judges who evaluate, not the participants. That's right, contestants. Thank you for that better noun. Always search for those better nouns. Okay, so there are 3 to 4 judges in every show whose job is to evaluate each contestant's performance. Right. How many contestants are there? So this is what I want you to practice at home. Visualize, get into details, ask follow-up questions from yourself. This is how you can talk for 2 minutes very well. How many contestants are there? Usually 10 to 15, too many. Yeah, so this is where you have to describe it for me, right? The show premieres with hundreds of contestants, and as they get knocked out each week, the final few episodes feature around 10 competitors. Right. And notice the paraphrasing. So again, the more you can do this, the better it is. So, the show premieres with hundreds of contestants, and as they get knocked out each week, the final few episodes feature around 10 competitors. Yep. I've corrected the word, the typo. Okay. So that's what you want to say. So now we know who's in the show. Now what comes next? What comes after these competitors? So what comes after we've talked about who is in the show? We've talked about what the show is, when the show happens, who is in the show. Again, this is the same thing that you're doing for any other kind of event, such as a birthday, right? My 35th birthday was last month. All of my friends were there. Okay, so we talk about what happens in the show. Yeah, exactly. So what happens in the show? What do they do? Can somebody give me a nice, clean, clear explanation of what happens in the show? The show is obviously about talented people because the name of the show is America's Got Talent. What kind of talent? What kind of talents? Think about it. So visualize things. Yeah. Each participant has a chance to showcase their talent, such as dancing, singing, magic, and even painting. Sure. All right. Or even martial arts. Sure, acrobatics, so on. All right, great. Wrong choice of martial there. And some weird, strange things as well. All right, great. So we've talked about that. You probably don't want to talk about each of the contestants. Now, what should you do next? What is the next step? You're trying to get a nice high score, 8 or a 9 on your speaking part 2. What do you have to do next? Yeah, giving an example, Pratesh, is a very, very good idea. Yeah, giving an example from real life. So can somebody give me an example? Can somebody continue my sentence here? For example, what? That's right, Sanjay. We are going towards that very important question, and I'm glad you remembered that that is an extremely important question. I was hoping other people would also catch on. Surab also got that, so definitely why you like it. But we can combine that with our example. So our example and why we like the show can be kind of combined here. We can start to explain that. So can somebody give me the example here and make it specific? And if you don't know, just make it up. So make up a name. Okay, Raya, I'm liking that one. For example, in last week's episode, there's a talented magician from Russia named, for example, in last week's episode, one of my favorite competitors from Russia. Can you tell me his name? What's his name? What's the Russian magician's name? Make up a name. Give me a common Russian name. Vladimir, okay. Okay, yeah, exactly. You want to be specific. Ivan Volodchkov, sure. So, for example, in last week's episode, one of my favorite competitors from Russia, Vladimir, performed an amazing what? What did Vladimir or Dmitry, it's okay, you can make up the name. What did they perform? An amazing what? Be specific. I want you to use your mind. Act of magic. What kind of magic? What do we do? What kind of a trick? Box, a stunt. What kind of a trick? What's one of the most common types of tricks? A card trick, sure. Raya, great. A card trick. If it's not a card, a fire stunt. Excellent, Rohan. Card tricks are great. Fire stunt is. What's another very common magic trick? I want you to exercise your visualization skills. Visualize, see magicians. What is one of the most common and amazing visual magic tricks that people do? A knife trick, a juggling act, sure. None of you have said the one I'm thinking of so far. A body split, sure. A vanishing trick. That's right, Hadil. That's the one that I was thinking about. Performed an amazing vanishing trick or disappearing act. Okay, so, and won that episode. Okay, so for example, in last week's episode, one of my favorite competitors from Russia, Vladimir, performed an amazing disappearing act and won for that episode. Great. Okay, so we've given the example. Now what should we do? Yep, that's right, Sai Baba. Disappearing act. That's a good one. But guys, girls, card trick is great. A fire stunt is great. So it doesn't matter. As long as you pick one, stay with it, and just say it, okay? Yep, you should start to think about the conclusion. You've been talking for a while now. What should be the conclusion? So what should you emphasize? Yeah, so again, notice that we're not even looking at our card, but all of you are remembering what the key question is here, why you like it, right? The program that you enjoy. So that's what you need to have in your conclusion. You need to have that key piece of information of why you like it, what you enjoy. So give me that key piece of information. Why do you like it? What do you enjoy about it? Give me some sentences. In the future, you'd like to attend it, ProSafa. Great. It gives you encouragement. It gives you motivation, sure. It's unique. It's captivating. Okay, so I really love watching America's, and don't forget to repeat the exact noun, America's Got Talent, because it is amazing and makes me realize how gifted many people are. As well, it encourages me to try new hobbies like dancing and magic. Furthermore, what else? So from all of the information that we've said, what else? Furthermore, why else do you love this TV show? Remember what we said at the beginning. So the name of the program, which I enjoy watching, is America's Got Talent. It runs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and I usually watch it at home with my sister. There are 3 to 4 judges in every show. So what is another reason I really like watching this show? That's right, Charan Meat. That's what I was thinking of. We enjoy it because it's a chance to get together with our family. So don't forget what you've said before. Strengthen what you say. Connect your ideas. This is a big part of that coherence score on the IELTS, making those connections between your ideas. So furthermore, it is quality time that I get to spend with my sister, and we discuss what we saw after each show. Okay, so this is the full response to this question. Again, we've identified that it is an event. So remember, these were our first steps in the preparation time. We identified the topic. It's an event. It's a TV program. As soon as we know that it's an event, we know that we need to think about when is it, where is it, who's in it, what happens, even though those questions are not on the card exactly like that. And then we think about the controlling idea, the show that we like. We do not forget to talk about that, all right? So then we open up with the what, why, hows, and whos. The name of the program, which I enjoy watching, is, now, guys and girls, at home, again, I said this in our class earlier today, it might be awkward, but when I read this, I'm going to read it a little bit slower, and I really encourage you to repeat after me at home, okay? So out loud, don't just, but nice and clear and loud, repeat after me at home as I say this, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. The name of the program, which I enjoy watching, is America's Got Talent. It runs every Tuesday at 8 p.m., and I usually watch it at home with my sister. There are 3 to 4 judges in every show whose job is to evaluate each contestant's performance. The show premieres with hundreds of contestants, and as they get knocked out each week, the final few episodes feature around 10 competitors. Each participant has a chance to showcase their talents, such as dancing, singing, magic, or even martial arts. For example, in last week's episode, one of my favorite competitors from Russia, Vladimir, performed an amazing disappearing act and won that episode. I really love watching America's Got Talent because it is amazing and makes me realize how gifted many people are. As well, it encourages me to try new hobbies like dancing and magic. Last week, I joined a dance club and I'm really liking it. Furthermore, it is quality time that I get to spend with my sister, and we discuss what we saw after each show. So definitely, I will continue to enjoy watching this show every Tuesday. So notice that I threw in a couple of extra pieces of information there, whatever. If you do, it's okay. If you don't, it's fine. But you get the main idea. So that's an event. Now, again, just a quick recap. Don't forget to do the same kind of practice with objects, places, people, and ideas at home as well. So I'm going to stop here for today's class, but before we go, let's listen to how a student performed on this on our website. So again, this is our website here, and we have audio examples for all of these different kinds of speaking topics. And this one, we'll find it pretty quickly here. Just bear with me. In our audio CDs. So let's see here. I believe it will be in our CD2. For part 2, I will ask you about a specific topic. You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare what you are going to say. You can make notes if you wish. Now we will begin. Here's a card with the questions. Okay, and this is where the student sees that card. It should be the same card if I pick the right track. And they're planning their notes, so they're going through their what, why, hows. They're identifying that this is an event. They're identifying the topic, TV program. They're identifying the controlling idea that they enjoy it. They're writing down maybe some of the key points, like the magician Vladimir. They watch it with their sister, Tuesday, 8 p.m. So just these 2-3 word kind of key pieces of information. Which will help them to reference that so that they can keep fluent speech. So that's what they do during the 60-second preparation time here. And then once they're queued up, then they're ready to go. Okay, the 1 minute is up. Please begin speaking.
I don't watch much television, but one program I make sure to watch every week is a show called Night Watch. It is a news show which talks about important issues going on in France. For example, a recent episode warned us about the dangers of skin cancer. Especially in the south of France, the number of cases of the condition is exploding. Shows like Night Watch are valuable because they raise awareness for issues like this. The show is also very enjoyable because it is so balanced. It presents both sides of the issue without bias. Another recent episode covered a big court case in Paris. While the newspaper had clearly already decided if the defendant was guilty or innocent, Night Watch presented both sides of the story while leaving the verdict to the jury and the court. Night Watch has also won many television awards in France. as well as some international awards. Additionally, the show comes on each Sunday night at 9 p.m. and it makes for a perfect way to end my weekend. I learn a lot from the show and I feel better knowing that I'm up to date on the local and world issues going into the coming week. That's why I enjoy this program.
Okay, that is the end of part 2.
All right. So now you heard a different student give a different answer for this same question, and hopefully you all understood that she talked about a news program called Night Watch, which would also be a good choice for a TV show talking about a news or a news program. And clearly she identified the topic well and the controlling idea well, that she has to explain why she enjoys this show. So for all of you out there, I challenge you to try the same exercise with Mr. Bean. It looks like a lot of you are familiar with the show Mr. Bean. So at home, practice this with Mr. Bean. Jacqueline, this student would have probably scored about an 8. Although her pronunciation is a little bit difficult in a couple parts, she gives an excellent, well-rounded answer on the topic with good examples, answers the same kinds of questions of what, why, who, when, as we did in our case. So she would definitely get a nice 8. She's using complex sentences and she's very fluent, okay? The audio here, guys, is coming from our website, aehelp.com. So again, join us there. You can get a lot of materials for free when you try the demo course. So if I go back here to the main page, if you go to aehelp.com, if you want to try it first, you don't want to pay money, you just want to get some free things, click on this green button, okay? That green button will give you access to the free version of the course. If you want to buy the full course, then click on the red Join Now button. When you click on that button, then you will be prompted for payment at the bottom of the site. Okay, guys and girls, so thank you again for watching. Again, go to our websites, aehelp.com. That's this one here for academic IELTS. If you're looking for general IELTS, then please go to gieltshelp.com, which has this green background. So that's for general IELTS. Make sure you register for the correct IELTS site. The payment depends, Bolivia, on what country you're from. If your country has a low GDP, like India, it will be $19 US. If you're in a country which has a higher GDP or a medium level GDP, it will be $39. And if you're from a wealthier country like the US or Canada or Germany, then it will be $59. We do this to make it available for more students while staying viable and sustainable. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Make sure to review it. Subscribe to our channel. There are lots of great videos. We'll have some more live streaming IELTS for you tomorrow, continuing with the listening section. You're most welcome, everybody. I'm happy you were with me. Keep studying hard. You will realize your dreams. You will get there. You will reach your goals. I believe in you, so believe in yourself. Bye for now, and see you tomorrow around the same time. Okay, good day, good night, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.